So here in New York, we own about 6,500 acres. Right now, we're only tapping a small percentage of it because we just got started 3 years ago.
So you're looking to expand?
Yeah, right now, going into this year, we'll have a little over 100,000 maple taps, and here in New York.
Is this a fantastic sugar bush?
Yeah, I mean, you see here, I mean, we've managed this to be more, this is more of a maple sugar bush. This is a high density of sugar maple. We're looking at a little over 100 taps an acre. This is about as good as you get. We have other parts of our property that are more diverse. They have maple, birch, beech, walnut. And so in those parts, you know, your density of maple isn't as high, but we're also collecting the sap from those other species.
Let's talk about that a little. So you collect primarily, your primary business is maple.
Yeah, so here we have about 110,000 maple taps coming into this year, and we'll have about 30,000 birch. And we have several thousand of the beech and the walnut. And so they're smaller than maple, right, in size, but we're also, that makes us the biggest producers in the world of birch, beech, and walnut, because those are just smaller niche markets that that's what we're specializing in.
And are those catching on? Are they growing in popularity around the world?
Yeah, for sure. And that's a big part of our business, is the alternative tree syrups. Like, we do a lot of maple, we love maple, but what separates us, and you know, when we developed the New Leaf Tree Syrups brand, was, you know, new ideas for different trees and uses for the syrup. So, you know, turning over a new leaf, so trying a birch syrup or a walnut syrup or beech syrup instead of, you know, your typical maple syrup. I mean, that's part of the idea behind the name of it, and our whole business plan was to keep as diverse a forest as possible and make as many unique, delicious syrups as we could out of the woods.
And is this relatively new, the birch and the beech and the walnut?
So birch has been around for a while, but it's relatively new in the way that we're making it. We're boiling with steam, and when you boil birch with steam, you don't scorch the sugars. It's a different type of sugar. It's glucose and fructose rather than sucrose and maple. And normally, historically, birch syrup has been made on a typical maple evaporator. And so you wind up with a very dark syrup with a very strong molasses type of flavor. And when we make it with steam, it has a fruity, subtle raspberry type of flavor, and it doesn't get nearly as dark. And so that actually won the World Birch Syrup Festival last year in St. Petersburg, Russia.
Is that where it's popular, in Europe?
It's very popular in Europe and Russia, Asia. I mean, there's birch trees growing all over the Northern Hemisphere. Mostly, though, what those people in those countries use it for is for drinking the sap. And that's a big part of our market as well, is selling the sap to beverage companies that want to bottle it up for drinking.
And is that new, the popularity of maple-flavored drinks?
Maple and birch. And using the sap as the base for either you drink the sap as is, like it comes right out of the tree, we filter it, pasteurize it, bottle it up, or you use it as a base to make a coffee or a tea or some type of energy drink. And that's increasingly popular because it doesn't count as added sugar on the nutrition facts panel. It's naturally occurring within the tree. It's naturally subtly sweet, and so you don't have to add sugar. And so people are always looking to reduce their added sugars, especially with the new nutrition facts panels coming out. You can use that maple or birch sap as a base and have this all natural from a diverse, healthy forest as a beverage.
And the beverages with the maple sap, are they catching on? Are they becoming popular?
Yeah, I mean, the market's continuing to grow for that. I'd say it started about 8 to 10 years ago to really pick up in the U.S. You know, it's historically been just a seasonal beverage, you know, because it's been hard to store the sap and sell it year round. But now the technology is available to be able to do that, and we're seeing more companies get into that, both in the U.S. and Canada. And you know, a big part of our sales strategy has been to supply those beverage companies with the purest, organic, you know, healthiest sap that you can.
How much sap do you produce a year?
You know, so 100,000 taps will produce about 2 million gallons of sap. We figure it's about 15 to 20 gallons of sap from each tap that we put out.
And to boil that down, how much maple syrup do you produce a year?
So there's typically about the 40-to-1 ratio. It all depends on the sugar content of the sap, but we made about a little over 4/10 of a gallon of syrup from every tap. So last year, out of 2 million gallons of sap, we would make 50,000 gallons of syrup.
So conservation is important to you.
Yes. I grew up in Albany and Lake George. We had summers in Lake George for the most part, a little family place in the woods up there, and I just love being out in the forest. I just love the forest and taking care of it and making sure we're making the best, wisest use of the beautiful forest that we're lucky to have here. You know, I was one of the many kids who just grows up on fake syrup. I didn't know about maple syrup when I was a young kid growing up. You know, it's not like my family did it. We grew up in Albany. We had the Price Chopper pancake syrup, right? And then when I learned about pure maple syrup, how you can get it out of a forest like this, preserve the forest, have incredible food, it's that just really excited me, and I've devoted my life to it ever since.
Tell us about your company. How did this all start?
It started about 5 years ago. A man named Dwight Poehler, who was looking to invest in the maple industry, more so in the northeastern forest. He wanted to acquire forest land here in the Adirondacks, or generally in the Northeast that he cares deeply about, and then create jobs and make incredible products. And you know, he thought of maple syrup, did some research, found me, and we hit it off, and so we've started it ever since.
And when did you build this factory here in Lion Mountain?
Built this almost 3 years ago. A little less than 3 years ago.
State of the art?
Yes, I mean we designed it in order to be able to collect and process sap in the most state-of-the-art, environmentally friendly, energy efficient way that makes sense, you know. And so, just like we built our sap tanks into the building with 60,000 gallon tanks, that's basically part of the foundation of the building, so that we would have the sap storage capacity. We put in 2 evaporators, the most energy efficient ones that are available for both a regular traditional evaporator and a steam evaporator. We have the reverse osmosis rooms, we have the bottling line. Everything's vertically integrated. So from the forest, being surrounded by thousands of acres, all the sap comes directly into the building, being pumped underground, processed, stored, bottled, shipped right out of here.
And you sell primarily through retail stores or online? Or both?
Well, in volume at grocery stores. Yep. And we also sell quite a bit as ingredient to other food companies as well.
And how many grocery stores are you in?
I think we have 3,000 points of distribution.
And for Lion Mountain, for this little hamlet, this had to be a boost to them to have you come here and set up operations.
Yes, for sure. I mean, we're employing some people here in Lion Mountain, but generally speaking, a lot of people come from the greater area. We are, just getting started as well, so we'll continue to grow and hopefully employ more people here locally. That's one of the reasons that my co-founder, Dwight Poehler, started this business. He wanted to create jobs here in the North Country. And so, that's a big push for what we're trying to do.
Any idea how many jobs you may be able to create?
No, probably when we're, it's always going to be different seasonally versus year-round. Probably year-round when we're fully built out and really humming, probably 20 to 25. And then seasonally, it could be 70 to 80.
A century ago, this was a mining town, and miners came from all over the world to work in Lion Mountain. Then in more recent years, it was a prison community until the prison closed about a decade ago. Do you see the maple factory, your sugar house, as the new lifeblood of Lion Mountain?
Well, it's a bold statement. It's a big aspiration. We do see it as one of the best things for the area. If you think about what are the comparative advantages of this region, and it's our natural beauty and our natural resources. And so originally it was the mining, okay, and we had the prison, but that's no longer here. So if we're not going to mine and we're going to do something renewable, maple sugaring seems to be the best thing for the area, because you can do it year after year, keep those trees standing, it keeps the natural beauty around, keeps those jobs in the area, because you have to do it here.
Are you having trouble finding workers?
Yeah, that's I'd say the biggest challenge. I mean, we started this business, in 2017. Unemployment rate was really low. It just continued to fall. There wasn't, a huge dearth of people looking for work because we had such great unemployment, and that's usually a really good thing. But if you're a business looking for workers, it's a challenge. Okay, and we are, in a small area, not close to a lot of major population centers. So, we do want to make sure that the local community knows that we're here. They know that we're a great source of employment, and it's just a matter of making those right connections and trying to get more local people who really understand, appreciate, and want to be involved. Because this can. It's not for everybody being out in the deep snow in the winter, working on those lines, or in the summer in the heat and the bugs. It can be hard work out there in the woods. But for some people, they really love it. And we want to provide the opportunities for the people that, that it makes the most sense for them, for what they want to do and what we can offer.